the generic New Orleans visuals never really popped into my. I never really like connected it to you. Like, could you walk me through how New Orleans makes who you are, and also just like the musical landscape of New Orleans?
Well, for me, New Orleans, everything that I won't say everything, but what people think of when they think of New Orleans, like with like Hot Boys and like No Limit, that's the
or
stuff.
Even Master P
and things,
you know
those
what I mean?
things,
Yeah.
those things. That's what I'm not, and what I'm blessed to. I understand the impact that they've had on New Orleans.
Yeah.
But I had enough knowledge to know that didn't really fit with what I was interested in, even as a kid. But what I do know about New Orleans is we kind of, created like jazz music, which is like very like, important for like a lot of different, just important. A little bit, not too crazy, but it's like very important. So it gives me a level of pride everywhere I go, man. I'm very proud to be from New Orleans. Like, some of the greatest musicians of all time have come from out of the city. And so when I go places and I tell people I'm from the city, I won't say I have a chip on my shoulder, but I have something to prove.
Absolutely.
Because people have, people have an expectation. But the city of New Orleans, we do have I won't say an affliction. We have an infinity for like street stuff. I can curse.
Yeah, by all means. Fuck. Just to get that out the way.
All right, cool. So we have like an affinity for street shit.
Yeah.
We like stuff that's a little bit more urban. Throw a pistol in there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
this doesn't like the space doesn't really strike me as a really dressed up kind of a space,
not
right?
At all.
Let
not
your hair down, open up your collar.
For sure.
Like, I mean?
It's
So
very, very cool.
It's not really like super eclectic and creative, but not really dressed up or anything like that.
No, not at all. So like that's kind of where my career took a turn, because I realized that I would probably not be one of the most popular guys here in the city, so I had to move not move out, but like I had to move around and tour, because again, New Orleans has an affinity for like gangster shit, like street shit, like real. I hate to say urban because that sounds so corny, but like real, just street shit. So I don't make street shit.
Gotcha.
I'm not even the street guy. I grew up, next to the St. Thomas projects, next to Magnolia and things like that. But like, my mom raised me to be more accepting of other cultures and things like that. So, and that reflects in my music. And some of the music tastes to my favorite rappers aren't really street guys. So long story short, New Orleans is kind of that nature, but we're also very down to earth. We're very do it DIY, because a lot of labels weren't coming to New Orleans in the 90s and in the 80s especially, even maybe in the early 2000s. Like we had to create our own industry, period.
Seems to be always, with No Limit. And
of course. Like Cash Money, all these different things. And that's just the South in general, man. Like the Southern artists and Southern like conglomerates, we had to like make it happen. We had to legit make it happen.
And we were talking about it earlier, like the eyes and ears of the world are coming.
For sure,
New Orleans,
for sure.
like with bounce music, which has been something that's been around since the 80s, maybe even 70s.
For sure.
But now people are definitely kind of like dipping their toes into it,
of course,
using it in different capacities and really thrusting it into the mainstream. So what other music or sounds or like little earworms kind of exist here in the city, outside of just bounce, outside of just jazz? Because I've always noticed the twang as well, like
you're man.
Yeah. I don't even know what that is exactly. You know what I mean?
That's saying hello. How are you?
Got you. And because I feel like there's certain parallels between our stories, or at least our relationships with our cities. Because for me, a long time, if you're a rapper from Philly, you have a beard. You wear fitted hats, like all these things. And I'm working on my beard. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna come in one day. But I've always kind of like, I've had a chip on my shoulder, or at least like, I don't want to say chip in a bad way, but I really want to show diversity,
of course,
in the space that I live in, because I'm from the hood too. But and I grew up in the craziest part of Southwest Philly, but I wasn't into any of that stuff. I represented very much it was small, but very much a group of kids that liked anime and comics and alternative stuff. And those choices of freedoms and choices of like artistry kind of deserves platform as well.
Of course, man. Every region kind of has like the stereotypical what people think of that area. Like, the West Coast, you think of Dickies, Chuck Taylors, maybe like your plaits, or what they call them down here, like your cornrows, like the joints.
Gotcha.
And whatever. And then out Northeast, you think like a New York jacket, New York fitted. With the big facial hair. Yo, God, yo, what's up, kid? You heard and shit like that. And a pair of Timberlands and the subsequent pistol somewhere on you. In the South, you know what I'm saying? We chill. We're quiet. I think we're very temperamental. I think we have very bad tempers down here. That's why we're so damn cool.
Is it the heat?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's probably the heat, especially in the summer, man. Like the murder rate goes way up in the summertime. But we're just real cool. We're hard working, man. We're not gonna bother nobody. We're gonna kind of just find our own like little spot in the room and just chill. You got some knuckleheads, but that's why I love being from the city, man. So when I go to places like Philly or the Northeast or like even the West Coast, and everything's so fast and everyone's so like really aggressive, it takes me a bit to adjust. Because down here we just cool. We speak to everybody. Like if I see your grandma walking down the street, I'm gonna help across the street type vibe. If I don't even know you, but we can close quarters, I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna, what was your name type vibe, whatever. So that's just who we are down here, you know what I'm saying? So, but not every region has their own like stereotypes.
And I just feel like every region should have its own spectrum. Like it doesn't need to be one box that everybody checks. By all means, like be diverse and jump into these different options and colors and things like that. But let's jump into you real quick. Where does your musical journey start in terms of because if you didn't know, crazy MC, bars for real.
Y'all can really rhyme.
Yeah, dumb writer for real.
Be rapping.
And you got the project out, Road to a Rolex.
Indeed.
So that's now. Where did it start? Way back when? How did we get to now?
Well, I'll say where my career started. So June 6, 2009 is where it started for me.
The actual date. What you said is going to be a 10-year mark this coming Friday.
Yeah, no doubt.
If you are in New Orleans.
Very excited about that, man.
Do not miss this man's show.
But June 6 is where it started. There was a guy by the name of Truth Universal. He threw a grassroots showcase here. It was called Grassroots, a hip hop showcase.
Oh, nice.
And it was the longest running joint. I think it was for 2001 to like 2014. So it ran for a really long time. And a lot of guys who were names out of the city got their start or at least graced those stages. Like D3, Not Tees, D1, Nesby, Spitter even did it one time. And so June 6th, I had just graduated high school. I graduated in 2009. From Helen Cox High School, and I had just graduated, and I had a school teacher. We all had that one teacher in high school that was like, "Yeah, brother, 'cause the black man," and and he was that guy, and he was like, "Yo, man, you and your man, well, my producer Caesar, who went by another name at the time, he was like, yo, y'all rap. So I know this guy named Truth Universal. He throws a showcase. Y'all should go." He put us in touch and put us on stage, man, and that was the night I hit the stage for the first time, and I was addicted to it from that point.
Did you rap before that point? Was writing a part of it?
I mean, I was rhyming like in high school. I would like rap at ciphers and stuff like that in the lunchroom. We had like battles. I think everybody had battles on the lunch.
I think so. Yeah.
I think we all had battles. I used to battle rap for a while. So we had the ciphers and stuff, but the actual like rhyming started when I hit the stage. That's what I consider it. So yeah, man, 2009 is when we kicked off, and years and years and years of just touring and meeting beautiful people who've helped me along the way, and helped me cover a lot of ground and putting out music and things like that. There's so many different moments. I got my man A. Levy. He runs a studio down here called the Hut Studios.
Gotcha.
And back in 2010, I was homeless. I was in college, but I was homeless. And
if you in college, you homeless. Like, let's just
for sure. It's just what happened. So I dropped out. But I wanted to put out this project, but I had no bread. So he recorded my whole project for free. So that was like, that's my bro forever for that. You know what I'm saying? Or like my man Marcel P. Black. I remember we did a show in 2013. We was in Denver, Colorado. And I guess he probably won't be mad now because he ain't on it no more, but he was on food stamps at the time. And he ain't had no bread, and I had like $100. So we had got the hotel. We was in the roughest part of Denver, man. Like right outside was the Vatos in all red.
Gotcha.
And luckily Marcel has history in that world. I won't go into too many details, but he started talking that language and got us out of that. And we was like living off of pizza for like a week. You know what I'm saying? And so we went through the struggle, man, and now we're doing some really cool things. So that's kind of where it started for me, though, man. 2009 is when we kicked it off.
Got you. And you really do work hard, man, from touring to,
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Placements here and there on Volkswagen, Netflix,
Volkswagen,
all these different things. And so it's led up till now. Can you tell me about the album?
Yeah, man. So, first I'll talk about The Beautiful.
All right, word.
Because the beautiful changed my life. Because for me, you know, I worked so hard doing all these shows. It was like people just kind of knew me as the dude that be on stage all the time, right? So like people didn't really know like my music like
Which
that.
Which is a funny reputation to.
It's weird because you know, I don't know, man. If you're not really popular, people they're not really trying to find out about you. You have to make them find out about you, you know.
Yeah.
So like, if I know you in this vein, I'm not gonna ever find you in any other vein except that. It's weird. The mind is a crazy thing. But yeah, I was the on stage dude, and my brother passed away in 2014. He had schizophrenia and he committed suicide.
Sorry to hear
and
that,
you know that crushed me. As you would imagine. So I took about a year and a half. I wrote an album, and the day of his funeral, I had to leave in the middle of the service because I had a show that night.
Damn.
And so that car ride was like super emotional for me. So I wrote an album about the car ride from the funeral to the show. And that's what The Beautiful is. It's a concept record. And in the album, I developed schizophrenia as well. So I like kind of battled it throughout the project. And so that album changed my life because we charted on Billboard. We charted on iTunes.
Damn.
I sold a bunch of records. And a lot of people, man, to this day, some of the stories I've gotten from people that have dealt
as a
with,
response to
of course, because people, because when my brother, I'm black, I'm from a black family. We don't have mental health issues. We pray it away. Boom. If you got issues, you pray, and if it don't go away, you pray again, and if you don't, you go
which
drink.
we know,
you know
like,
what I mean?
it just
doesn't work.
It doesn't work like that.
You have to go get therapy
You're
and things like
being.
that. You know what I mean? So when I found out my brother had what he had, he was like the strongest example of a man that I had in my life.
Older brother, right?
Yeah, my oldest brother,
Gotcha.
Alandis Banks, RP. But so he was the example of a man to me, you know. And so for him to be so big and so like strong, but then he was taken out from this disease, it was like wow. So I did research and I was like, yo, like what is mental health? What is going on? I found out about schizophrenia. I legit found out at like 22 years old what mental health was, mental health disorders and things like that. Long story short, I did the research and I wrote the album, man, and it was therapeutic, and I didn't know so many people could relate. And man, some of the stories, man, that I've gotten, I had a young lady, I won't say her name, but I had a young lady, she drove from Chicago, Illinois to New Orleans to see me rap.
Word.
That's a 14-and-a-half-hour drive.
That's a long ass drive,
And when she got here, she gave me a letter that her oldest son is in a mental institution. And because of his issues, and his younger brother was sad that his brother had to go because of his issues, so he wrote a letter to his brother. She gave me a copy of that letter.
Got you.
You know what I mean? And she gave.
Yo, how eerie is that? Could you talk about two brothers and the exact same story?
I was like, damn, man, and I didn't know that like that type. And I did Voodoo Fest. I got to open for Kendrick Lamar at Voodoo Fest. That was crazy. And I had a young lady. I remember she came to the concert and she told me the intro track is called "The Funeral of Alandis Banks" because I recreated his funeral on record.
Got you.
And she said that song saved her life because her husband had just passed away from brain cancer, and she was gonna, you know. And she said she heard a friend told her to listen to the record, and she heard it, and it inspired her to keep going. So when she came to the concert, I remember she had a T-shirt with my face on it. She had my birth year on the back, like a jersey. She was just like, "I love you and I love your music," and I was like, "Yo, that." So like when
how do you even like? I'm sorry, I was gonna say, how do you even like move on from a project like that? Like that seems like,
you know, it took me about 2 years to do it. I put out singles, but like I've been, so when I do shows, man, I have a jump drive with all my music on it, but I have one CD, and that's The Beautiful, because some people when they hear you live, they go, "You're dope," but I don't want to jump into your whole catalog. I just want to take a chance.
Gotcha.
And so I have The Beautiful as that chance. So when they jump into that, they go, "Oh, this dude could really." Oh snap! And then they want it, you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's my baby, that's my joint. And anybody who knows my catalog, that's the record they know me. So but it you know, that's my baby forever. I'll always do music from that project, no matter how big I get in my career. But The Beautiful really changed my life. It gave me some reputable things outside of just performance things. Like, yo, I could chart, I could sell records, I could, like, even in today's age, I could still sell a couple joints. So it was beautiful, man. And then we fast forward to the road to a Rolex. So I didn't want to just keep making like sad music. I want everyone to know that I could kind of do everything. You know what I mean? It's
difficult, man.
It is, especially to come from something so deep, because I kind of set a standard now. So people kind of think that when they listen to my music, they're gonna get like a TED talk in a sense, and that's not really the case. Like, I'm a lyricist at the end of the day. I know how to put these bars together. And so for Road to, I put out a project called Mere Exposure Effect with a guy by the name of Malik 95. He just signed to Jet Life, which is really cool.
That's what's up?
And my man Pell got a new album coming out. Malik got a couple records on that joint. He's also a dope rapper in his own right.
Oh, Pell, isn't he from New Orleans?
Born and raised, yeah. No
Got
doubt.
you, yeah.
So yeah, long story short, I did a project with him where I was writing more radio records. I wanted people to know that if I was ever given a chance to put some shit out on a radio platform, that I could compete. Yeah. So I got, the melodic hooks with the easier bars to kind of digest, and that record did really well as well. And now we just put out Road to a Rolex, and I was saying to myself, like, man, being an independent artist, when you're not big, people kind of feel weird when you say you try and get this money. People feel like, oh, you just want to do it for the money. It's like, no, I mean, yeah, but no. Like, you know what I mean? This is my art. This is what I love. But, handshakes don't pay the rent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got to get this bread.
Absolutely.
And so Road to a Rolex is the idea that one of my goals in life is to get a Rolex. And it's that, but it's a metaphor. It's like I want to get to a place in my life where I'm comfortable enough to drop 20 bands on a watch and be fine. It's just the grind to get to that point.
And we talked about goal setting earlier when we were a little bit off camera, just about like, I guess we were talking about financial goal settings, like, in terms of like just setting the bar in a realistic place and then moving from there.
Got to, man, because everybody can't make $1 bazillion. Like, you got to be realistic, especially in the music industry. The shit's so up and down. But yeah, I want to get to this bread, and I'm not about to save up $20,000 for a watch. That's stupid. So I want to get to a place where we just got the bread, and I don't think there's anyone on the planet that don't want to get this money. Like, that's a very relatable topic. So the whole project is kind of like talking about that in whatever bypass way it is, but I'm real braggadocious on the record. I'm giving you bars, I'm giving you a little bit of substance, a little bit of something, and just letting you know, especially in the past 3 years, man, because I've touched a little bit of bread, and I've been able to do some bigger things, and I'm seeing these checks coming in now and all this, and it's just like, man, how am I gonna process this? How am I gonna handle it?
What's your connection to lyricism, right? Because when people think of New Orleans, I feel like people are, I don't know what they think.
But I don't think lyricist is the first thing they think.
But I would assume, right, that's not. But
we got people like 3D Not T who will rap your head off.
Yeah.
Bars, nigga, arguably the best rapper to come out of New Orleans. Like, she is nuts.
Talk about that, like your connection, and also the other lyricists here, because I'm sure there's an entire community of people that care about wordplay. Like, what I mean?
For me, man, like when I was coming up, especially like 06, 07, there was this new guy on the scene called Lupe Fiasco. Who was very similar to what I was doing, just because I was into skating and I was into the Japanese t-shirts and all these things. But all I rapped about was just how good I was. I didn't rap about necessarily how many pistols I had, so people just put me in that box. So I went to explore that box, and realize there's so many different possibilities in that box. And being a lyricist for me is important, man. Like, I'm not necessarily I go hard like I'm so dope I don't do that. But like, for me, is literally how you put your words together, your alliteration. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how witty can you be? How funny can you be? Like, can you be introspective while also keeping someone's attention because you're fun? All these different things. And for me, the reaction of the person. Like, I got acapellas I do, and I have certain lines. I'm like, I know I'm going to get them with this. And then I study the crowd when I hit that line, and some people may not react to it well. Some people do. All those different things is what goes into being a lyricist. And also making, like, easier records that people can sing along to. That you need lyricism to do that. Because you need to know when to dumb your shit down. Like,
for me, I've been so inundated with it from being from Philadelphia. Like, everybody is like bar. Like, it's really, in some cases, like,
the funny part, not to cut you off. Most people that say you need to, as an independent artist, you need to have bars, they don't even listen to that shit.
Oh, I mean, in terms of like songwriting is a funny science. You know what I mean? Because I do like certain songs that are just jam-packed with words.
Yeah, like Lupe's Mural, great example.
Absolutely,
right?
8 minutes of
the
just
8.5 is just shit.
Crazy,
it's going at you. It's crazy.
But I do understand, like, you can't slap somebody over the head with that, like the average consumer or something like that, right? So you need something, especially certain things fit in certain spaces better than others. And I always look at music like it's the universe, right? It's big, wide open, and expanding. There's no boundaries. There's no rules. You can do whatever you want. But I always look at songs and songwritings as like specific rooms. And if you step into a room and someone's doing open heart surgery, that may not be the room for you to like kick shit over and jump off the wall and kick and yell and scream. But if you step into a room and it's nothing but like, and it's covered in trampolines and ropes and all kinds, that might be the room for you to like show off your
shit.
Yeah, shit, and go crazy and go wild. And like, so for me, that's kind of like been my study of like songwriting
Really
and just
dope,
being
man.
really, really
And in
careful.
New Orleans, man, we got lyricists for days. We got myself. There's my man K the Beast. He's an artist that I've been rocking with for a minute. Homie is really dope. My girl Sleazy Easy. She's like one of my favorite rappers from because she can sing, she can rhyme, she could do like the and I go by the but then she can give you bars. Like, she's so multifaceted. It's incredible. You got my man True Universe, who gives you that like OG feel, that real like classic boom bap hip hop conscious. He's like if Dead Prayers was from New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? So that vibe, he give you some stand up and let's fight the system type shit.
I always feel like Southern rappers always kind of have like a secret weapon because they could just talk. And you know what I mean? And the way they bend words is already rhythmic. Man. I'm like,
just the way we talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you actually talk to somebody from New Orleans, like, you're 9 times out of 10 not know what they're talking about. Like, for example, what's the word? Was it with the yeah? So like, yeah, for us, the word yeah means like everything. So it'd be like, I'm about to go with the yeah.
Okay.
That means like I'm about to go to the store. You want something? Or that would mean like,
funny
oh yeah. That mean like, oh, what that happened? Oh yeah. That mean like, boy, you better get I'm about to put. And it's just so many, and we're all nuanced down here. Yeah. Like, if someone says, yo, I feel played, leave the room.
Word.
Because that whole room about to get shot up. You never want a New Orleans nigga to feel played.
Got
you. If he start like, I feel played, you need to dip. That's the universal sign. Well, it's about time to wrap this up.
Right, word.
You know what I'm saying? So we're all nuanced here.
Word.
And so that just bleeds into the music, man. So
does the process of recording, like,